Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. But first of all, before we start the video, I'm going to do a backstory. So, I was watching UC Weapons video on the Mattel Douglas, and I saw this.
Held in by sticks, and I'll be 99% sure that it's got plastic axles like Douglas.
And I was like, wait, what? Let me keep watching.
Have a look. Here is the locomotive, and here is the tender, and yes, plastic axles.
And I went to go see if my Douglas had plastic axles, and it turns out it doesn't. And then I remembered back in 2014 when there was Chinese remakes of the models. So it turns out that my Douglas was a Chinese remake. And you could probably guess what my reaction was.
My God!
So yeah, I just wanted to smash this thing. And no, I did not smash him, but I'm going to use him for parts.
Is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
So I went to eBay so I could find a new Douglas. And seeing how much he went for, I thought I was never going to get one. But then I found this listing and everything changed. It was only $40, and not even 15 minutes after the seller posted it, I bought it. Donald and Douglas are my second favorite characters. Of course, first being Oliver. I love their characters, I love their liveries, and I of course love their Scottish accents provided by Michael Angelis and George Carlin.
Scared the monster might get ya, teased Douglas. He might, said Donald.
There's no monster.
There is two. There is not. Is two. Is not. Is two.
Help! Help! Lost six, Donald. It's Henry. Don't worry yourself, Henry. Wait a while. We'll have you out.
So now we're at present day, so let's get into the video.
Guys, I am so excited right now because I got my mystery package here, and this guy took me a long time to find. I'm so happy because of how outrageous people press him. But today I got him for cheap, and I believe the seller said he's broken, but I can fix it. So let me try to get this open. Sorry if it's loud. Oh my goodness, we have him right here. Ooh. Oh my gosh. So hold on, let's start with the tender. If I can find it. Oh my goodness. I think this is gonna give it away, but this is amazing. Oh my gosh. Put the tender right here. And then, oh, now for the engine. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Oh my. I finally have a Douglas. And I believe this boy is Hit Toys, yes. You guys can see that, it's Hit Toys. And oh my gosh. This is amazing. So yeah, I'll clean them up and do some updates, and I'll get to you guys back later.
So it turns out Douglas is perfectly fine. But however, he does have a strip screw where the motor is. So if you guys have any tips on getting strip screws out without damaging models, please let me know in the comments. Also, he's a little loud, but I'll fix that later. Now we're going to talk about their faces. Donald's face was modeled after his neutral face in the Model Series show. And Douglas's face was based off the Model Series show as well, but it was based off of his laughing / smiling face. And to be honest, I love both of their faces, especially compared to the 2012 ones. I would rate both Donald and Douglas a 9.5 out of 10. Their models are absolutely amazing. I would say Tomy could have done a little bit more by making their handrails silver and making their boiler a little bigger. So now let's talk about the special features for Donald and Douglas. The Hit Toys Donald and Douglas share the same chassis, so if you break one, you can always replace it. And I don't know if this is the same for the Tomy ones because I don't own them. And I should mention that Donald and Douglas were the first tendered engines to have their tenders uncoupled. And the tender engines that came before them could not do this. And this was because the motor was stored in the engine and the battery was stored in the tender. So there was wires connecting the tender and the engine. So it's not possible to detach the tender from the engine, unless you broke the wires, but then the engine wouldn't work. Donald and Douglas both take a AA battery. You have to unscrew this screw to take the boiler off. And now let's get into the releases. But first we have to talk about the prototypes. I found two prototypes, the Trackmaster prototype and the Tomy prototype. And to be honest, I want to burn both of these. Now let's talk about their Plarail set. In 1999, Plarail released the Donald and Douglas snow clearing set. The set came with 2 snowy tunnels, some curves, 1 stop and go track piece, 2 normal track pieces, Donald and Douglas, their fitted snow plows, a works coach, and an exclusive snowy Farquhar station. And might I mention, this is the only way to get a Plarail Douglas, because in Japan they never released him on his own, they only released him in this set. But nowadays you're lucky to find it under $1,000. Finally, we'll talk about the individual releases, and let's start with Donald first. Tomy Donald was released in 1998, and he came with 2 gray troublesome trucks. Then Hit Toy Company made him and released him with 1 gray troublesome truck in 2008. Then re-released him just by himself in 2009. Then Fisher-Price released him in 2012, but you already know how I feel about that model. And Donald is easy to get, but I can't say the same for Douglas. I would say you shouldn't pay over $60 for a Donald, and I highly recommend getting both Donald and Douglas, if you can find them, of course. Now let's move on to Douglas. Tomy Douglas was first released in the Tomy Plarail Donald and Douglas snow clearing set back in 1999. And the only other release of Tomy Douglas was in 2006. He was released with a red truck 8 years after his twin Donald. Then in 2008, Hit Toy Company released him with the same red truck as Tomy did. And then he was also released by himself in 2009. And then finally released in 2012 by Fisher-Price. And if you can find Douglas for a decent price, you should 100% pick him up. And the last thing I have to say is you have to be careful with these guys because all their details are stickers. Now let's run some trains.
Being pushy, Donald snapped. Don't call me pushy, Douglas snapped back.
I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe and like if you like my content. And special thanks to Trackmaster Tomy for making me this awesome thumbnail to use. I hope you guys liked the video, and goodbye.